life can hit like a sledgehammer. But guess what? We hit back harder. Welcome to Affirm That Shit. Somehow, I thrived. I'm Jennifer Rogers, your no BS guide to turning life's toughest moments into badass victories. Ready to flip the script? Let's affirm that life can be a bitch, but somehow we thrive. Welcome to this week's episode of Affirm That Shit. Welcome back. And if this is your first time here, thank you for joining us. I'm going to give you a gentle reminder to go ahead and hit like, subscribe, and leave us in a comment so that you don't miss any episodes. Today's episode's one you definitely don't want to miss. Our guest is Christianna, one of my soul sisters, and one who has a beautiful and powerful story of beginning again, transforming her life, and owning her voice. I invite you to share with me her affirmations. If you're in a space and a place where you can take a moment, please do so. If not, save this episode and come back. Find yourself a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Hold and release. I am love, light, and a beautiful, colorful work of art. I am love, light, and a beautiful, colorful work of art. I am love, light, and a beautiful, colorful work of art. I am me. No filter, no fluff, no made up stuff. I am me. No filter, no fluff, no made up stuff. I am me. No filter, no fluff, no made up stuff. Yes, I am a weirdo. Yes, I am a weirdo. Yes, I am a weirdo. And we're all weirdos. Christianna is going to explain to us what a weirdo is. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Imagine a space where you let go, where the clamor of the world quiets and you meet your truest self. At Yu-Gi-Oh, through sound vibrations, Reiki, and the wisdom of tarot, we help you release what no longer serves you, align with your energy, and renew your spirit. Begin your journey back to yourself today.
Welcome to Affirm That Shit, Christianna. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Jennifer. So happy to be here.
Oh. So our last affirmation was, yes, I am a weirdo. And that one I cannot take credit for writing. That is all you. So for those guests that are watching and listening, can you tell us what weirdo means for you?
Absolutely. It's a bit of an acronym that I put up because we're all weird to somebody, so we might as well embrace it. It's wonderful, individual, exuberantly reflecting divine originality. So that's I consider myself a weirdo, and I think everybody's a weirdo too. So we're all just wonderful individuals. And I say individual instead of individual because I think we're in divine, and it's time for us to come in divine. So individual Expressing real divine originality is another one that I've come up with as well. That was the first one. I couldn't remember it. And then I went, wow, I'm a weirdo, wonderful, individual, exuberantly reflecting divine originality. Because we're all just, I like to think of us as God's sub-personalities all just running around.
You are. And one day we're one type of weirdo, the next day we're another. But I love that you own who you are. There's no question about what you're bringing to the table because you've done the work.
Yes, and I continue to do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Self-healing is never a completed task. It's a continuous walk.
Yeah.
I want to start, your bio is amazing and you have such an extensive background. You tell us that you're a spiritual psychotherapy, child psychology, family mediation, you dabble in alternative therapies. So working with all of these backgrounds and all of these specialties, how did these elements weave themselves together in your shit story? And where did it start? And how has it helped you?
Wow. Well, it started with my biological father being an alcoholic. My mother did very well in saying that he was sick, and so that we didn't blame ourselves. So she actually fled. She had to flee that relationship. And that was at a time when, the police would just say, sorry, ma'am, there's nothing we can do about it. It's domestic. So laws had changed just shortly after my mother leaving that relationship, because there was a woman with 3 children that was drowned in the car after she was leaving her abuser. And there was a picture in the paper and people thought it was my mother, but it was after that they had changed the laws that it wasn't up to the woman to decide to charge the abuser. The abuser would automatically be charged. But so I wanted to understand why he would be that way. So I started studying about alcoholism in like grade 4. And anytime I got to pick a topic in school to do an essay or project on, I would do it on alcoholism. Even in high school, in history class, I did the history of alcoholism. So it was just something that wanting to have that understanding, and then wanting to help the children as well, because, maybe they don't understand how much they're hurting their children. I've just always thought that if we had more understanding, and a lot of arguments and things like that come from a miscommunication. Of course, I've learned more about abuse, and I really don't like that saying that hurt people, because, we're all hurt people, and we don't continue hurting people because we know how that feels. So I like to say there's no excuse for abuse. And I had alcoholic boyfriends, but that didn't last long because I knew that I couldn't change them. My mother showed me a video by, I think it was Trisha Yearwood or Lisa Brokop. There's a powerful video called She Can't Save Him. And that's something, we can't save another. But we don't have to keep subjecting ourselves to that. And especially when we have children involved. So my mother was a great inspiration to leave that relationship, but that's what really started me on that, wanting to understand. And one of the first things I wanted to be was a child psychologist. So I'd finally done that. Well, I'm not a child psychologist, but I've taken the child psychology and I've gotten the degree in that, diploma with honors, with highest honors. I did that. And my mother was a young mother. I wanted to be a young mother. But I learned from that. I wasn't as young as my mother was, but my mother also made me like her best friend. And that I'd learned is called emotional incest, because she leaned on me more than she should have. And I'd heard stories about her wanting to take her life and things like that. So I felt responsible for my mother really from a young age, because she told me that the abuse didn't start on her until I was born. And that's when my father whispered in her ear, "You can never leave me now." So even at that young age, I kind of took that on, that it was my fault, that I needed to be quiet. Because when I cried or whatever, my mother would get hurt. So I became very quiet. I didn't speak much. There's lots that would say to me as if I swore or something, like, "Wow, you look like the type that wouldn't say shit if your mouth was full of it." Like, "Oh fuck, I swear all the time. It's all right." Sometimes there's just no other words that can go into that. So, but that's kind of where it all started and originated was seeing that abuse from a very young age, and then the different types of it. And then there was lots of the sexual abuse, unfortunately, in my family too. So, you know, I've been very, um, it's been a big part of my life. So, but trying to be there for others, but putting my own self on the side. So it wasn't until I was in my spiritual psychotherapy course, and it's an experiential program, that things started to come up for me with my biological father and with an uncle. But I was so young, you know, it was just, it wasn't, well, I learned like how we disassociate. We might not remember in our mind because we go someplace else in our mind, but our bodies are still there and they still have grown through that stuff. So um, it's important to have people listen and hear you. And when I shared that with my mother, I thought, oh my goodness, this will kill her. This is the thing that's going to drive her over the edge. So that's probably why, as a child, I probably blocked that out too, because my mother was my hero. She was everybody's hero. You know, it was everybody wanted my mother. So when I did finally tell her as an adult, she hopped up in this dramatic way. And I thought, no, don't let her blame herself, please. And what she said was, oh, well, I wonder if he did anything to your brothers, because it's worse for boys than it is for girls. So it was something that I was really shocked at, but it really kind of confirmed, well, here, all my life I've been worried that, you know, I'm going to kill my mother if she knew that I'd gone through abuse, or that she wasn't able to protect me or save me from that. That kind of just validated in my mind that she really didn't care. I was there for her more than she was there for me. And I learned from a very young age, keep putting myself aside and hurry up and grow up. She tells everybody she wasn't going to have two running around in diapers. So I needed to be potty trained at a year and a half, because my next brother came along at a year and a half. And then a year and a half later was my third brother. So there's my second brother. So there's 3 years between me and that second brother. And then I have a baby brother, 10 years younger than me, with the stepfather, who used to be my dad. I called him daddy. And then that took a wrong turn there too. It's like I ended up having a Jerry Springer family, and I don't even know how I got there.
And so
'Cause
you
then
carried, it sounds like, Christiana, that you carried all that weight and guilt and protection your whole life. And
yes,
so as you became a mother, a young mother, because again, this is what you saw and where you went, do you think that is why you place so much special attention and focus in your path of healing that inner child and going back and honoring her?
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because my mother was, you know, it was also, don't feel sorry for those who do it to themselves. So there was things that I'd seen there, right? And those who drink to drown their sorrows should learn that sorrows can swim. So I learned very young too that there isn't anything that can, you know, and I thought, well, doesn't that make sense in my brain then too? Because after I did have a drink and learned about hangovers and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, not only are your sorrows still there, but now you're dealing with hangover and stuff like that. You're adding insult to injury. So I just never looked to anything to escape my stuff. I knew that I had to face it. I knew that I had to deal with it. And I was made 100% responsible for everything, because I was told that even if they hold a gun to your head, you still have a choice. So then I was made, you know, responsible for everything. So I took everything on them. Well, how did I bring this on myself? What did I do to get myself here? But now I look at it as a way that we need to be gentle with that little, because that little took on a lot, you know, and I would just kept my little, was going through a thing called family sculpting in the spiritual psychotherapy class that I took. And I volunteered to go up the front of the class to be the one for the teacher to grow through it with us. And I realized, and it ended up to be like a typical shame piece, it was called. So you pick people out to represent parts of your family. And the one that I represented me as a little, I realized I left sitting on everything. So the little isn't responsible for all that heavy stuff. And I realized, like, you know, I've already grown through that. Now it's time to be there for that little inside and give her that care. and be that mother to her that I really thought my mother was, but it turns out that my mother wasn't, because my mother wrote against me in court and is the reason why I had that's the system. I think it's designed to help protect reputations more than victims and children, and it failed our my children and I. But that's also because of the bias, because my mother wrote against me. He had my firstborn son write against me.
But you
So
felt just another betrayal as you enter a different stage in life and a different trauma that's coming on. It's just
yeah,
one more thing that you're carrying the shame of the family, and families just showing up in a
yeah,
toxic way that they have
yes,
this whole time.
yes, yes,
So you have really had to do some inner work.
yes.
For those that are just starting on their healing journey and they don't know where to begin, they may not even know what is an inner child. That may be something that this is the first time they're even hearing that. You know, how can you, or what advice would you offer to encourage them to begin listening to start that journey?
Make some faces at yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
When you look in the mirror, look in your eyes and look at the child inside of you, because
So
that
what I'm
child
hearing you
always
say
has,
is probably playful. Show
yeah,
up and play.
be playful, yeah, and bring it out. And I like to say, don't take life so seriously, but be serious about living your life. You know, because we're going to get these lessons. Things are going to come and go, and that's the thing. The only thing constant is change, and we get to choose how we respond to that. We're going to have reactions. Those feelings are going to come up automatically, but we get to choose how we respond to them. And we can think, you know, if something comes up, this reaction, we think, well, how old am I right now? That's one of my favorites. And how old am I feeling at this moment? And then we can go to that little child, however old they are, and go, it's okay, sweetie, I'm here. And I'm being the calm adult for you right now, and giving to that child inside what you needed that you didn't get, because we can't expect it to come from our parents. If they've always been
No.
what they've been, you know, and the family's always going to be what they're going to be. So it's up to us to stand up and take responsibility as the adult. As adults, we're 100% responsible for healing that little child now. And maybe that little child needs to be raised up again with love and accepted just as they are. So if nobody else is going to do that, you know, I'd say I've done the self-love because, well, somebody's got to do
Myself.
it. So let it
So
be me.
besides looking in the mirror and making faces, because you and I both know affirmations are my thing, and looking in the mirror can be extremely hard,
Yes.
especially if you're not used to looking at yourself, not used to
Hmm.
making that eye contact. What are some other ways that you would suggest we play with our inner child, or we play with ourselves as adults and keep it, you know?
Wow. Oh, right. What's okay? Sorry, that's not this show. Okay, we already had a show about. Okay.
Yes.
What did you love to do when you were a child? What was the thing that you loved to do most? Was it spinning around? Was it going and playing on a swing? Was it going and jumping in puddles, getting your fingers messy in there? Or maybe just trying that, maybe going and picking up a children's book and just reading a story out loud to yourself, or, you know, things like that. What did you love to do as a child? And ask that little inside, what is it that you want to do right now? And
I
take that
love
time.
that nugget of reading a story. We were just in Kansas over the weekend, and we went in an antique store, and I found an old Mother Goose nursery rhyme
Oh,
book. And
yes.
I just flipped it and read it. And you're right, there's something nostalgic about just slowing down. We just look. So
Yeah.
I love that, taking the time. I know that you are very artistic and you're very connected with your community and want to put that out there and draw in people of the community.
Hmm. Yes.
You created Begin Within. And when I say created, you manifested it for a long
Mm.
time. And that
Yes.
is a huge part of who you are. It took you years to manifest this. Can you
Yes.
take us back to what sparked the vision for you to start Begin Within?
Well, it didn't have a name, but it was like my late teenage years, early 20s maybe. I loved the metaphysical shops, and my family's also very crafty and creative. So I wanted a way to like highlight their crafts and creativity, and thought this is what I want to sell in my little shop, studio, whatever, and do the artwork. And I would think about it as like, they'd say if you go into a bar and the bartender's like your therapist, well, and this is why I've done all this other training, because then you come in, you're looking for a gift, but you're getting a gift as well. And as those gifts of healing, it's begin within gifts, books, and healing services. Then there was also, my brother had bought me a little medicine pouch from an official trading post in Kenora. I thought, oh, this is like official indigenous art or whatever. And then it opened up, it said made in Indonesia. So that's where it expanded to. I'd love to do in our native communities, in our indigenous communities, and highlight those local artists and stuff as well. And to bring more knowledge and awareness to that, but also to help support them, because the funds that would come in through that is not for profit, but to give back to those community organizations, those NPOs that have helped me so much too, learning about the ceremonies and things like that, and reconnecting with our Earth Mother, because I believe in Heavenly Father and Earthly Mother, and they mix up, and here we are,
Oh, I love that, because I was just about to ask what your thought was about using handcrafted arts to connect. And so that's beautiful. You're calling in your connection. And as you said, we're all not individuals, but we're in divine. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely, right. And the gifts is everything. The gifts are so healing for the artist doing them, healing for the ones that's going and buying them, and healing for the one that gets them. They're all healing. And it's not just those tangible gifts, but those are gifts inside that we have to share. So
That again, that inner transformation that you speak of. So looking ahead, what are some dreams that you envision for the Begin Within?
Oh, wow. Well, I don't want to limit it, but I just keep it open. I envision doing little workshops with people to help you connect and get playful. Because it is hard to do that sometimes. I thought about having like a weeding Wednesdays and come weed through the garden, so you have that visual of we're pulling out those weeds. But sometimes I'm a very visual and tactile kind of person, and that's when I learn best too. So I know I'm not the only one. So it's in sharing in those. I'd love to do like a little studio in there too. So I love to let my voice out and sing, and and it's just a space to share, and a place where people come and feel welcome and feel at home. Like I call this my Begin Within home. I did manifest it. It's something that I dreamed about. It's a rent to own, and I've got my garage outside because I need that shift for a home business. I can walk out the back door and then I'm in work. I'm at the shop now, but it's right here, and I'm home for my children. And that was one of the biggest things that I always wanted to be, was home for my children. And I've tried to think of ways to get the multiple streams of income and surround myself with all the stuff that I love, and have the home maybe pay for itself. And when the children grow up and move out, I'd love it to be like a transition home where we begin within. And it's those ones that are looking for that hand up and not just the hand out. I want to help teach people to fish and not just give them the fish.
I love it. I love it. That is a beautiful vision. And you've manifested everything so far in your life. I have no doubt that that is going to manifest for you. No doubt. And those that are listening, those that are watching, they're going to connect with you because they want to connect with that inner child. They want to learn how to be playful, because at some point there was a last day that we never expected. There was a last sleepover at our friend's house. There was a last day that I rode my bike and I put it in the garage. There was a last day that I got up on Saturday morning and ate cereal and watched cartoons, right? Why did it have to be the last? Why don't we carry that into adulthood? And it sounds like you are picture perfect of what that inner child play looks like. So tell us, Christianna, because I know I want to connect with you. I want to come to this Begin Within healing environment and pull weeds. So there are going to be others that want to do the same. How can those reach out to you and connect with you?
Well, I've got an email, beginwithingifts@gmail.com. Right now, the space, because I am doing this begin within work, and there's still lots that I am being dragged through the muck in. So I do a daily crumb. I call it the daily crumb, and it's just a little 10 to 15-minute video. And it's on the YouTube, Begin Within Guidance with Wingishni Bay Majeki Kwe, which is my spirit name, sweet grass water medicine woman. I call myself your friendly, freaky ass sweet grass water medicine woman. That's how I introduce myself. Christianna Carr, superstar. And then I'm on the Tickety Talkety at the Daily Crumb, And then there's also Crumbs, I think, is my other YouTube channel. But it's basically all the same video. I edit it on the Tickety Talkety and put a little heart thing in there because I love to do the drawing of the heart. And that's just a little way to get a little taste, and it follows my journey. My Begin Within Guidance channel I've been doing that since 2018. So when I was first started being dragged through the family court, I had started that as a healing, because silence is abuse's biggest ally. So I'm not going to sit quiet. I say I don't fight, I shine my light. So that's what I'm doing. I see the fighting gets more fighting. So I just keep shining my light, keep adding my light out there, because that's what we need. We need those stories, and we never know who our story's going to help until we let it out there. And you know what? I just cry. I show up. I say, come as you are, take me as I am. I do these shows just first thing in the morning. The only editing I do is on the Tickety Talkety, where I add a little heart. And sometimes for the first time, I'm watching it after I've uploaded and shared it. And then I go, ooh, I'm like, oh, well, it's out there now.
But it's that real and that playful, and we get to see that. And I know you have a Begin Within book. You have one close by where you can show it to the viewers. And then how can we get a copy of that?
It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and I think there's another site there too. But yeah, you can find it on the Amazon. It was just a 21 days of poetry challenge that I tried with Bookleaf Publishing, and I didn't even know if it was legit, but it actually was. So it's just got 21 little poems in here that have a lot. They say a lot. And that was just me showing myself that I can do that. And it was legit. And yeah, once it starts selling, then I get all the royalties of it, but they just got to recover their publishing costs. But it was
all
legit.
right. That's all right. That challenge is what we need, because it takes it back to that inner child. I remember sitting in school and, write a haiku, what the hell is a haiku? I don't know,
Right.
Write a poem. Does every sentence have to fucking rhyme? No, it doesn't, not to be a poem.
Right.
So that book that you have, that Begin Within, is a great challenge for someone, again, leaning in, honoring their inner child and growing. And Christianna, I am so proud to call you a friend. I'm so proud to watch you continue to heal and grow and transform from that child to a beautiful, shining, artistic adult. And I want to say thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I love it. And get out and play. Go dance, shake it up, whatever it is that gets you in touch with that little,
Yes.
Yeah. And it's okay to ask for help. Somebody, you want to come play with me? Remember the days we used to go knocking on the doors? Can so-and-so come out to play? Want to come play with me? When we were kids, we used to go knock on the doors if there was a new person in the neighborhood. You got any kids our age?
That's right. So to our viewers and our listeners, take her advice, get out and play. You just took another step towards owning your story and thriving against all odds. This is Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrived. If you're ready to keep kicking ass, subscribe now and let's keep breaking barriers together. Remember, life's a battle, but somehow you'll thrive.